You got it? Oh, that awesome. Okay, let's get started. I want to welcome you. You guys are having fun over there in Edmonton, it looks like, which is awesome. But it is what March 5th, so it's our first Vision and Goals calls of the Earls program, which is awesome. It's exciting, and I know for some of you, you kind of signed up for this program, not really knowing what you're getting into. So that's what today's kind of going to be about. I'll give you a brief introduction of the program, kind of what we're going to get into, and we'll do some very introduction stuff today. And then the following three calls, we'll get deep into it. So it's gonna be fun. So this program is designed to kind of empower you to create the personal legacy that you kind of wish to leave in this world. So it's going to be a lot of cool stuff, a lot of understanding of who we are as individuals and as a person, and then we're going to create some amazing visions and goals. And it's we've seen some amazing results. This is the second time we're doing this with the company, and there's just been some phenomenal changes and growth in different leaders and people and the way they live their life. So it's exciting. So I'm excited to go through it with you guys. So I'm going to give a brief introduction to kind of what igolü is, the leadership program, and Vision and Goals is the first kind of course of it. So I'm just going to give you an insight to what igolü is, and it's just kind of a definition I have here. So igolü is a choice, an act, and a movement. It is a choice to stand for others. It is an act for unconditional love for others as they live into their vision and goals. It is a movement of like-minded individuals dedicated to designing their chosen future instead of relating to people based on personality, likes, dislikes, achievements, and failures. igolü shows how to goal others based on possibilities, accountability, choice, and fun. So it's designed by Susanne Conrad. For some of you may know of her. She's kind of been the driving force of Lululemon and their leadership program. It's called, and she's been kind of a communication and leadership advisor for the last 25 years for multiple different companies and people and great leaders. So she's this crazy woman. You kind of got a brief introduction into her video. She's like full of life, full of laughter, full of smiles, and she's always living in this amazing place. And I had an amazing opportunity. She's actually the one who took me through this program, so I got it right from the kind of the driving force of this. So, and then she actually certified us to become coaches. So the program's amazing. She's amazing. So I'm excited, like I said, to take you guys through it. So. For some of you, I think you just kind of signed up. You've heard good things about it. You don't really know what you're getting into. So I'm going to give just kind of the important concepts of level one. I'm just going to quickly review those before we get into it, just to give you a little more clarity of what you signed up for. Because I know for lots of you, probably some of your GMs is like, hey, or chefs is like, hey, you should probably do this. It's an awesome program, and that's kind of the gist of what you know of it. So just to give you a little more clarity and insight. So vision and goals, important concepts. Moment to moment, we are responsible for creating our own personal legacy. We have the choice to react from the past or respond to the now. The body is innately intelligent, and it helps us to be true to ourselves if we listen to it. We must pay attention to the upward and downward spirals and choose to stay above the line. And then we're going to write goals, which are written from a vision to support a desired future. And goals will be written first person, present tense, and they're informative and include specific dates. Declaration statements tune us to be the person that sustain our vision and fulfill our goals. So that's kind of the gist of our 4 calls. But I'm just going to kind of create a clearing right now, or an ask of you guys from this program. Because like I said, this is kind of my second time coaching these calls, and I've seen good success, I've seen average, and I've seen amazing results out of this program. So it's I just want to clear it up and kind of ask that it's going to be what you put into this program. Like I said, it's there's going to be lots of homework and lots of personal reflection. It's kind of a program where it really ties into personal mastery. So you're going to have homework in between each calls, and if you leave homework to the last minute, you probably won't get much out of this program because it's a lot of reflection throughout the couple weeks in between calls. So. I'm just going to ask that I want you to ensure before each call you're in a great space which allows for you to be clear and grounded. You're in an environment which allows you to be open, honest, kind of vulnerable, put yourself out there, because the more we put each other out there on these calls, the more we're going to get out of them. So just make sure you're always in a great spot, you're ready to go, you're comfortable, and you're okay with opening up and sharing in that space. I want you to kind of set a personal intention for each call. What do you want to get out of these calls? Kind of why are you on these calls? And really just set that as your personal kind of goal for each call. And I know for some of us it may be uncomfortable speaking about our past or speaking up, but if you can really put yourself out there and do that, yeah, you're going to get a lot more out of this program. So, and any moment during these calls, if you require clearing, if your duck's quacking, if something's going on that's taking you off of the court, feel free to share with us. Stop me, interrupt. If you need anything from us to help you kind of get out of your own head and really just make you be present on these calls, if it's a clearing, just step in and do it whenever you want, because I just want you to be here. So. I want you to ask yourself on each call, are you 100% above the line, or is there something that's really bothering you? Is it like relationship stuff? Is it work stuff that's kind of keeping thoughts and vibrations negative at that moment? So just ask yourself, what do you need? What do you need from us? What do you need from the group? And just kind of make sure you're 100% ready to go. And I ask that please be in full integrity with your pre-work. Like I said, you're going to have pre-work in between. I think we have 2 weeks in between each call. So it's 14 days. It's not a lot of time. Like I said, if you kind of leave your homework to the last minute, you're not going to get a lot out of this program. So just make sure. I always tell, and we'll review it again when I go over the homework, but I always tell the people on these calls to review the homework as soon as you get off this calls or that night, and then be working on it for the next 14 days. You're going to get way more out of this program. And then the last thing is just ask yourself, is there anything impacting your ability to choose happiness and have fun? That's it. So those are kind of my asks of you going into each call and during this, I think it's a 6-week program or 8-week program for us. So it's a short program. So let's just go full, give it 100%, and I promise you'll see some amazing results out of this. So does anyone have a clearing at the moment that they want to make, or anything to say? I can see you couple in your little Google Hangout box and shaking your heads no, so we must be good. Google Hangout's fun this way. I've never done anything over Google Hangout, but it's a lot more interactive. It's a lot more personal. I can see you guys smiling right now, which is awesome. So, if no one has a clearing, I can continue on. So I just want to establish right away that this program's about you. I'm your igolü leader. I won't be talking to your GMs. I won't be talking to your chefs. I won't be talking to your regionals. Don't worry about that. Earls is putting this program on for you, but it doesn't even really need to relate to Earls. Lots of these conversations that we're going to have is nothing to do with leadership, nothing to do with Earls. I think they just want you and our people in this company to grow and really live the life that we want to lead. And when we talk chosen futures, and we're going to write visions 10 years down the road, and it's like Earls just wants you to really help accomplish what you want out of life. So. Ultimately, I think it'll make you a better leader within your restaurants, which is great. But it's going to be about you. So don't worry about anything you say on these calls. I remember last time I did this, my night leader was on the call, and she ended up stepping down from her role because of this program. She wasn't really happy with kind of where she was at. She wasn't passionate about it anymore. So this kind of program expedited that process, and I was happy for her, right? So it's stuff like that. It's super cool. For me, this is the second time I'm doing this call or coaching this series, which is amazing, and I couldn't be more excited. I get so much out of these calls, and it's such an honor to be able to be a coach. But I always grow from listening to each of you, and I grow in every call and every person. And you guys are going to share some stuff that's going to help me in tune with my vision and goals. So and I've personally gotten so much out of these calls. Like I said, we're going to create a vision 10 years down the road. For me, I'm 26 now, and when I went through this program, I was 25, and I never once thought of myself when I was 35. It fucking scared me almost. But it's been such a journey, and it's been so powerful. And I know for some of our callers, from the first time they wrote this vision of 10 years and they shared it to the group, they actually broke down in tears of joy because it was so powerful. And they picture themselves with the person they want to be, with the family they want to have, kind of the comfort they want to have in their life. And then I just remember this one girl just breaking down with tears of joy. So it's super powerful. We're going to create goals to support that vision, and these goals are going to be goals that actually hold you accountable, because we're going to set a date and a time to them. And we're going to figure out a way, almost critical past steps, how we're going to achieve these working backwards. And I'm sure we've all set goals, and I'm sure we've all failed at those goals. Hey, I want to lose 10 pounds, but these goals are going to help you dial into actually creating that future. I've learned to become a better listener with my girlfriend and a better communicator. Our relationship's probably stronger than it's ever been because I've really like in tune to listening to myself, listening to her, and I've never been more open and vulnerable with her. So it's all thanks to this program, and I truly mean it. I'm probably a more confident communicator at work, which is awesome with my partners. And then a big piece is faster recovery time. That's a big part of this program. Is we're going to get into it, but when we go kind of below that line, and we're in a shitty spot, and we're not making great choices, and we're reacting to situations, we're going to learn how to recover faster and how to get back above the line. So we're in a place of choice and making great choices and having great conversations. So that's a massive piece too. So I think that's it. I'm super excited. I'm excited for each of you. It's a very cool program. So just to kind of set up how we frame these sessions, usually it's very similar to what we're going to be doing today. Usually I'll do a preamble, which is anywhere between 5 and 20 minutes. We'll kind of review the homework. We'll kind of review the video we watched. We'll get into it. And a lot of it is opening up the mic for you guys to share, kind of the journey you're going through, the process you're having. And like I said, the more comfortable you are with sharing, the more comfortable you are with putting yourself out there, the more you're going to get. So just be prepared that I'm not going to call on anyone. If you want to share, you can share, but I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. So sometimes people are super uncomfortable in sharing, and we'll have to have a separate conversation, just you and I, and we can work through whatever you need to work through together. But yeah, so that's kind of what the conversations are going to look like. Today we only have 4 of you on this call, so I'm thinking we might only be 45 minutes, 50 minutes. We'll never go over the hour and a half. We're going to respect that time frame because I know each of us are busy and prior commitments and other commitments. So don't worry about that. We'll never go past our kind of scheduled. If it's an hour and a half, or if we start late, we'll have to condense it. But I'll make sure you're always out of here in that time, so don't worry about work or anything like that. And if you're committed to that kind of hour and a half, we're going to be good to go. So that's kind of my preamble before we get into reviewing kind of the important concepts of the video. So if anyone has any questions at the moment, feel free to ask. Water break, but okay. No one piped up. I can see you guys smiling again over there, so we're good to go. Google Hangouts. Awesome. So the first thing we kind of dove into was personal legacy, and our legacy is kind of a combination of one's visions, goals, and we're always leaving that legacy. And it's important that we examine our inherited components of our legacy to be in full choice about the legacy we wish to create. It's going to be our work to really discover who we are, kind of what we came here to do, and then do our very best to remain true to ourselves and our personal legacy we wish to create. Part of our personal responsibility in creating our legacy is to examine the kind of internal voices inside of our head and make sure we're listening to our accurate information, actively choosing to live above the line. So what we need to understand is the mind is always connecting us with things to past experiences. It's its job. And we need to examine listening because we can't set goals as an extension of what we've already been able to do based on what we have done in the past instead of allowing ourselves to really leap into a future that's currently uninvented. So kind of what I mean by that is we've all inherited a legacy, whether we like it or not, from our parents, from our grandparents, from our race, from our gender, kind of from the communities we've grown up in, the friends we've hung out with, the schools we went to. We all have a past that's connected to us. Some of it's not great, and we need to really, for some of us, we're going to have to dig into that, and some of it may be we were bullied when we were younger. I've had to deal with a father being verbally abusive to his son, twins who were always competing, and one of the people on my calls always was, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. So there's going to be almost like skeletons in the closet that's going to be holding you back if we don't clear yourself kind of that legacy. Because before we can really set these goals of this chosen future that's this uninvented of what we really want out of our life, we're going to have to clear ourselves from our past. So that's going to be a big part of call 2 where we really dig deep into that and just make sure we're 100% clear and our mind's 100% clear. So before we can really move on, we got to get rid of that stuff. So that was kind of a big piece of call 1. And then Susanne talked about above and below the line, and this is kind of the reaction versus choice. Reaction being when we're below the line, where we're reacting to certain situations, and then above the line is where we're in full choice, we're making great decisions. And we kind of experience when we're above the line trust, wonder, love, forgiveness, all those kind of feelings. And then we're below the line, it's usually due to like worry, self-doubt, judgment, fear, all that kind of self. So we're going to have to dig into that because we're not going to be able to make great choices. And it's all about that chosen future and that vision. And if we're constantly below the line because of some of this stuff, we're never going to be able to fully achieve or believe in ourselves of fully achieving these results. So. And the big piece to that is, which Susanne talked about, is the body sensations and how the body is innately intelligent and it's always speaking to us. And this is something that was a new concept to really me when I started getting into this program. And it's like, what? My body's talking to me? But it made sense. Whenever we go below the line, we're going to feel feelings. Even starting to do these my first couple calls on Google Hangouts, I'd never done them, and I was super anxious, and my chest was feeling tight, and stuff like that. Or for me, when I get kind of in the grip at work or with my relationships, I clench my jaw. I kind of squeeze. I'm a fist clencher as well, so I'll walk around just like clenched jaw, like ready to go. But so if I can realize that I'm clenching my jaw before I make a bad decision, I can recover faster and get above that line. So we're going to have to really listen to our body first because it doesn't lie to us. It's not going to fake these emotions. It's not going to fake these body sensations. So that's going to be a big piece that you're going to try to come in tune with over the next 2 weeks before our next call. And then she got into the exercise or the conversation of the power of knowing what you want. And it's all too common in our life that that we focus on what we don't want in our lives instead of getting clear of what we actually want. And it's going to be essential to really create this clarity before writing a vision and goals so you can bring clarity to what it is you want out of your future. And we've kind of all heard of the law of attraction. And the law of attraction is the name given to the term like attracts like. And that by focusing on positive or negative thoughts, one can bring positive or negative results. So that's what this exercise is about. You're going to kind of really focus in. It's so simple, but it's so powerful. And I've used it. I use it probably weekly. The last time I used it was last week or 2 weeks ago, going into my interview for Bridge Park, the new restaurant I'm going to. I kind of did this circle and I put in everything how I wanted to show up in this interview: confident, self-assured, passionate, all of that. And I really focused on how I'm going to do this in my life and how am I going to do this for my interview instead of walking into an interview like most of us usually do, with thoughts going through our head. I'm nervous. What if I can't articulate myself well? What if I can't get this across? Or if I don't explain myself well with this? So I almost just cleared myself and I focused on how I wanted to show up, and it's probably one of my best interviews I've ever done. I know people on these calls have done it for their relationships, who are having relationship troubles, because it's always we're focusing on, most of us in our relationships, I don't want this out of my boyfriend, I don't want this out of my boyfriend, or he always does this, and like attracts like. So we're going to focus on those negative thoughts, and that's kind of the results we're going to see out of it. So if we can focus on kind of what we want out of our relationships and who we want out of our relationships, that's what we're going to, as a result, receive. So I use it in sit-downs. What do I want to get out of sit-downs? How do I want to show up? I've used it at partner meetings. What do we want to accomplish? So. And then I've created one just out for my general life. What do I want out of my life? What kind of the people I want involved with? All that kind of stuff. So it's a very simple, but it's a very powerful exercise. So that's going to be part of our homework, is doing that. So that's kind of the important concepts of our the first video. So now we're just going to open it up, and today's a very introduction call. We're just going to open it up for you guys to share. Like I said, we're doing this 6 or 8 week journey together. So we're first going to open up the call and give a 2 to 3 minute speech of who you are, kind of how you occur for others, how you wound up being, and just so we get to know each other a little bit. And then I'm going to ask a couple things out of you. I want you to share kind of your intention out of these calls. What do you want to get out of these calls, whether it be a great, powerful vision, a better communicator, you're a better listener, you recover faster, all that kind of stuff. So I want to share your intention, and then I want you to share kind of your body triggers or body sensations that you're kind of aware of now. I'm sure you have some surface level ones, and over the next couple of weeks, when you're really in tune with it, you're really going to figure out more deeper level ones. But I'm sure most of us know what happens when we hit the grip or when we get hot. So let's just share those right now too. So that's it for me. So we'll open it up to you guys. You guys can share. We'll get into it, and then we'll go over the homework. We'll talk about that, and I imagine we'll probably be done about 9. So whoever wants to start, like I said, I don't want to call anyone. Whenever you're comfortable, jump in and share. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Team Clairview stepping up?
Yeah, you're going first.
Awesome.
So this is my second time going through this program. I kind of missed my third call, unfortunately. It kind of sucks because Google Hangouts is a little weird for me. Just kind of seeing everybody's faces and everything, so I can
right.
About it.
Yeah.
But when I first started this last time, what I thought I wanted out of it was more so just an Earls aspect, and then the second time, after thinking about everything after my second call, I realized I more so just wanted a better life for myself and a better, clearer vision of what I wanted for myself. Just because I never really knew, I just kind of was going with the flow for the most part. So basically what I'm hoping I can get out of it this time, and just set clearer expectations for myself, so I have something to drive for. So I guess body sensations right now, I can already feel my chest tightening just from opening up. Not so much nervous this time going through it as I was last time, but still almost the same body sensations. Clammy hands, just kind of things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then since you're kind of a little bit of a seasoned vet, is there any words to wisdom? And how is your life? I know you didn't fully complete the program last time, but what are some changes you saw that you can get others on this phone call maybe excited about?
Definitely knowing what your body sensations are, you can kind of keep yourself above the line a little bit better. You don't really have to, once you start my chest, once I started feeling it tighten, I just took a moment to breathe so I could get back above the line, because I know I was starting to go below and I would start to stutter, or something else would change in me, and I wouldn't be able to clearly articulate what I wanted to say and things like that. So that's definitely one thing that I really did get out of it the first time around. And then even after the first 2 calls, I started writing out goals for myself. Where did I want to see myself in a year? Where did I want to see myself in 3 years, and then 5 years? And I started challenging my other leaders, my junior leaders. What do they want to see themselves in a year, 3 years, or 5 years? So it just kind of opens up your eyes to a more broadened horizon.
Very cool. Awesome, man. So you're excited to go through it again?
Yeah. I'm excited for call 3 and 4 now. Get through those.
Yeah. Awesome. Good. Thanks for sharing, dude.
No problem.
Okay, I'll go next. See how we're on roll. Okay, I'm not really sure what I'm walking into for this, but I watched the video and I read the article. My intention is to become a stronger leader, not only just being stronger, but sounding stronger. I want to speak better. I want to use or learn things that I could use in any aspect of my life. And I say or like more than I say other words. Weird. I fidget, but I try to walk into anything as prepared as I can be, doing my homework and stuff so that I don't ever, I guess, fall below the line. But yeah.
Awesome. And who are you as a person?
Who am I?
Yeah.
I don't know.
How would your friends describe you? What type of person are you?
I think it's fun. I like to learn new things. I don't know, I try to put myself in uncomfortable situations so that I learn a little bit more about myself all the time. So I don't know, I've kind of only the past couple of years started to actually learn who I am. So it's kind of cool.
Very cool. And then I think it's 8-week program for us, I think, looking at the calendar. 8 weeks, if this program's a success for you, how are you going to show up differently in your business? Because you talked about becoming a stronger leader. It's kind of your intention out of it.
basically just want to absorb as much as I can from everybody in the group.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. That's great. I'm excited to go on this with you and the both of you. It seems like you're having fun over there, which is awesome. This program should be fun. It should be laughed in. So good. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, I can go next.
Hi, Kate.
Hey,
How are ya?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Okay, so I think that probably one of my most dominant characteristics is that I'm a really intense person. I am not good at taking things slowly and not like diving in head first. So I have a tendency to like get over involved in things really, really quickly and get really emotionally connected with them. I think that like the most important thing for me though is that I have a tendency to create really, really lofty, overarching goals for myself, and then when it comes to like the day-to-day details of them, I have a tendency to get really overwhelmed because instead of like looking at like I want to like do this eventually, so like this is my step-by-step process, I go I want to do this eventually, so oh my god, how am I going to do that? So I think that like one thing that I really want to work on is not getting so bogged down in having all these aspirations and really like focusing on tangible goals.
Right.
Yeah.
And what are your kind of body sensations and triggers that you're kind of aware of right now?
I think that like when I'm in the grip, I definitely have a tendency to sort of shut down and kind of cut myself off from like the people around me. And I sort of get, like, I can feel myself getting, like, really twitchy, and, yeah, I, like, really, like, I don't know how to describe it. I, like, very much close myself off from external sensations, which is, like, sort of a problem, obviously, but insofar as, like, it really shuts down communication with other people. Like, I am completely closed off to them communicating with me, and so then I'm perceiving them completely through my own lens.
Right. So yeah, that's you're kind of just describing the results of you going below the line. What you're going to really want to tune into is what your body's telling you. So for like some people, it's clammy hands or tightening the chest. Like I said, I'm a jaw clencher. So the results of that is really listening to our body, and hopefully as soon as I start clenching my jaw, I'm like, Cody, release. Or for my fists, I start doing like the jazz fingers or jazz hands or whatever it is, right? So, because your body will speak to you first, actually, before those results, which is you being closed off, occur. So.
Okay, well, like for me, like one thing I definitely noticed is that I start to like tap my leg with my hand.
Yeah.
And I start to feel like, you know, when you drink a lot of coffee and you kind of feel like you're getting really, really wired.
Yeah.
That sort of sensation where it's like, you feel like you're kind of just running on adrenaline.
Right before you Hulk rage.
Yeah.
No, so that's the stuff over the next 2 weeks and moving forward you're going to really want to tune into. So when you start tapping your leg, you should be like, okay, shit, I'm about to hit the grip, or I'm about to make bad choices. What do I need to do to get out of this? And part of the homework will be finding ways to recover. And for me, probably the easiest and fastest way is when I realize I'm going below the line, and I'm about to get hot, I have a picture of my nieces on my phone where they're eating ice cream and they got it all over the face. And it's a guarantee for me if I pull up my phone, check out this picture, it's like they bring a smile, it warms my heart, and I'm back above the line. So that'll be part of your homework, is really trying to figure out what, when you start tapping your leg or you're about to kind of Hulk rage vibrate, what's going to bring you back faster. So that's
cool.
Good insight to where you're at, though. So awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Awesome. Hey guys. So my intentions, I think, out of this, I've sort of moved over to Canada when I freshly out of school, and I've just been breezing by it for 6 or 7 years here, not really knowing what I wanted to do or where I wanted to end up, and just being a bit of a snowboard bum. And it's only in the last sort of year that I've, had a little quarter life crisis or whatever, and being like, where am I going? What am I doing? And so when this course came up, I thought that was sort of a great idea to actually get some clarity of what I wanted to do with my life or where I wanted to end up. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to get out of it, is be able to set some, shorter and long-term goals of what I actually want to become and who I want to be, rather than just some little teenage punk, snowboarding around the place. At some point, I guess I have to grow up. So yeah, I think that's what I'm hoping to get out of this most, is just a bit of clarity in who I am and where I'm going. Some body language stuff I noticed. I definitely get the clammy hands. I was sitting here waiting for my turn to kind of speak, and noticed that hands are getting all and sweaty, and I get that the caffeine sort of shakes was a really good example. You can just feel your whole body kind of tensing up there and getting a bit sweaty and shaky. So that's something that I've always noticed. And I'll get that before a confrontation. If I have to sort of, someone's annoying me or I do have to confront someone, I notice I definitely get that sort of clenched up and sweaty, sort of the ducks going off, and my body starts sort of sweating. And I'm like, oh man, getting ready for this sort of fight with someone. So the things I've noticed that pop up for me.
That's good though, because so for you, I would suggest the power of knowing what you want. Doing that circle for those conversations might help you go in with a clear head, kind of above the line. Not so if it's nervous or scared of the conversation. That might be a great exercise for your next, if it's partner sit down where you have to kind of confront someone. It might be awesome for you. Who are you as a person? You're from Australia, you said. What else? How long have you been? You said you've been over here for a few years.
Yeah, it's nearly 8 years now.
Awesome. What made you come to, and it's all been in Whistler?
Yeah. I kind of just came over for a bit of a holiday. It was meant to be like a month or two holiday, and just forgot to leave.
Forgot to leave, yeah.
It's having so much fun, and I just kind of continued on, and now it's sort of only in the recent couple of years decided that this is where I'm settling down, and so I've got my residency coming through hopefully in the next couple of months, and decided to kind of settle here, and now it's being like, okay, if I'm going to live here, what am I going to do? Who am I going to be here? Rather than it being a holiday, it's sort of, I've decided this is now my life.
It's a reality now.
Yeah.
Do you miss home much? Do you go home much?
No.
Oh, that's awesome. So you think Whistler's, did you go anywhere else in Canada while you're over here?
I've done some traveling, but I've lived in Whistler the whole time.
Awesome, man. Good. So this is sounds like an awesome program for you, kind of where you're at with your life. So it's going to be great for you, man. It really is. Good. So we're sitting at 8:40, and because we had 4 kind of absentees, the sharing part session is a lot shorter. So we're pretty much wrapping up. So it's only a 40-minute or 45-minute phone call. Before I kind of review homework and go over that, does anyone have any questions, need any clarity? Do we want to touch on any of the subjects we talked about a little bit? Anything like that? Clairview shaking their head no. Okay. Jared, you're good? Yeah, and I can't see Kate, so. Okay, let's just kind of review the homework and kind of set the expectations of what we want, and I'm going to probably reiterate the importance of getting on it right away if we really want to benefit from this whole program. So homework to be completed before session 2 call, and session 2 call is, just looking at my calendar, is March 19th for us, same time. So as I know for Vancouver is 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and Edmonton was 9, so it's going to be March 19th again. You should have the calendar invite, so you should be good to go with that. I'm going to review this homework, but it's all found on my Earls. If you go into the courses, then vision and goals, you can kind of find the 4 weeks and the 4 different calls and all the homeworks there. You can read up a little bit more on it. So, but the first thing is we're going to choose a buddy in your group. So probably I'm going to say, just because it's easiest, Clairview, if you guys want to team up. And then if Kate and Jared, if you guys want to pair up, and I really recommend trying to do this face-to-face for Clairview, but for you two over the phone or over a Google Hangouts, you get much more out of it when you can kind of see the person, you can actually hear their voice inflections, you can kind of go through that with them. Emails, you lose kind of that personality of it, so I really recommend phone or Google Hangouts, which would be awesome. And just check in probably I would check in. It's not really beneficial checking in the night before because the call's in the next day, so you can't really help each other. So I recommend maybe in a week's time when we're kind of halfway through this call and our next call. So for our homework, it's please download The Power of Knowing What You Want and complete this exercise. Like I said, you can use it in multiple different areas of your life and see multiple great success with all of it. So do it for kind of your life as a whole. I would do it for maybe that next conversation you got to have, Jared. If anyone's going through an interview or anything like that, I would recommend doing it. So let's get that done. Then we want to notice that at least 3 areas of your life where you live in reaction versus responsibility. So that may be for Jared. It could be that conversation. That's one option for you, and there might be different facets. So we just want to try to be aware of 3 areas that constantly bring us below the line. I know for me, it's one certain partner at work. Whenever I have to have a conversation with them, we don't get along. We disagree. So it's like that person always brings me below the line, knowing that I have to have a conversation with them. So that could be an area, or whatever it may be. But let's start really to notice that. And then we want to complete the body trigger worksheet. Again, it's found on my Earls, so it's all going to be there for you. And that's just going to be paying attention to our body sensations. And over these next 2 weeks, I would just have a notepad for vision and goals. And on the fly, if you go below the line and you notice like your back tensions, write it down, or what the conversation was like, write it down. So just try to take as much notes and be on the court as possible for the next 2 weeks. And then you want to take a look at example shifts from reaction to creative choice-based listening. So pick a few that work well for you. I know for me, like I said, it's that picture of my nieces on my phone that I can always pull out, and it always brings me above the line. If I have the option, for some reason it's 50 Cent, Hate It or Love It. It reminds me of when I first got my first car, and I thought I was the coolest kid pumping that song with this big sub on my back. But it always just kind of puts me in that happy place from when I was 17. So it might be a song for you. I don't know what it is for everyone, but those are a couple of my examples. So just figure out what's going to be those kind of couple options for you that going to always be able to bring you back above the line. So that's going to be one of the most important concepts of this. So, and that's it for homework. So that's it for this call. Like I said, I can't reiterate enough how excited I am for you guys. This is an amazing program. I'm so proud to be a part of Earls, who sponsors this for every one of our partners and leaders in this company. It's going to be an amazing 8 weeks, and I hope we all get a tremendous amount out of this program. So if you ever need anything during between our 2 calls, you have my email. We can talk. You can call me at the store. Next week I'll be at Bridge Park, Burnaby, so if you ever need to get a hold of me, just call the restaurant. We can have a chat, send me an email, whatever it may be. I'm there for you, and like I said, it's only going to be us on this call. We're going to keep everything, kind of the conversations that happen, and just respect each other, keep them amongst ourselves. And if you need anything, like I said, feel free to reach out to me. So I'm here for you, and if no one has any other questions, thank you very much. Appreciate the 4 of you being on time and here today. So. Have a great couple weeks. It's Thursday. Have a great weekend, whatever it may be. But thank you very much. Take care, you guys. See ya.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Bye, guys.
Thanks so much.
You bet.